Hello, this is Dennis Gack again from the National Brotherhood of Fathers' Rights. As you know, I've authored the Fathers' Rights Protection System. Right at the bottom of this video, you can click on the green link and get more information about the book and other information about how to protect your rights, including a free case analysis. Today's video is about divorce, and I'm not even going to attempt to cover every aspect of divorce in this video. The protection system with its CD-ROMs and such will cover it in extreme detail. I'm going to give you a general overview and some things you need to be aware of. First of all, is it better to file divorce rather than have the X file on you? In other words, take the proactive offensive approach. Personally, and I can't really support why, I would like to be on offense always rather than defense. So if you see a divorce on the horizon, it may be good psychologically to file first, just to be involved in your case and kind of take the action to her, so to speak. Now, at the first sign of problems in a relationship, you need to start preparing by first of all gathering information. So if you're still at home living with your wife and you don't want to get divorced really, but you see it as inevitable for whatever numbers of reasons it could be, start preparing, start reading books. The Father's Rights Protection System, in my opinion, is the absolute best, but there's tons of other information out there on the internet about divorces. Read case histories and stories. That's what my book is full of, and there's tons of stories out on the internet about what other fathers have gone through in similar situations. By watching what they do or what they've done and the successes and failures they've had, you become much more adept at defending yourself. Now, a divorce. What are the components of divorce? Well, number one, it means that all legal ties between you are separated. Child support's involved, usually a separation's involved, some kind of separation agreement, something called a parenting plan or a parenting order is entered into effect if you have kids. There's property settlement agreements, child support orders. There's a number of things that need to be solved, including physical separation. Who moves out? Do you move out or does she move out? Is it good for you to move out? It all depends on the circumstances. I don't really want to get into that kind of detail because every situation is completely different. I'm more than happy to give you a free case analysis. You can email me, request an intake questionnaire, answer that. I'll set up a personal appointment with you on the phone and we'll go through your personal situation. But in a general video like this, it's really tough to do. Okay, so she files divorce on you or you file on her. The person filing has to go to the courthouse, pay a filing fee, and have the other person served, usually with a process server, unless you agree to accept service. Usually there are so many days to respond to that divorce, usually 20 days, sometimes 30 days, depending on what state you're in. It's important to do a detailed written response on mandatory court forms and file those with the courthouse. I've covered where to find court forms in previous videos, but make sure you're using the right format and the right forms or they'll toss you out right on your ear or they'll ignore the paperwork. It's important. Make sure it looks professional, it's typewritten, and you'll get the highest degree of attention and success that way. Now, one of the most important areas of the divorce situation, and by the way, when I say divorce, most of what I'm talking about can be covered under paternity as well. Okay, paternity situation is where a guy isn't married, but in a divorce situation, the guy's married. The presumption is that an unmarried father, that those kids are not his. A married father, the kids are presumed to be his. Okay, so that's the major difference. But and there are other differences as well. But much of what I'm talking about here can be used in a paternity case as well. So main area is a parenting plan, and I'll cover parenting plans in a specific video later. But how the kids are going to be parented, who has custody, who has primary care of the kids, and there is a difference. The person who has custody makes legal decisions for the kids. Primary care of the kids are where the kids primarily reside. Okay, you should have a detailed parenting plan that outlines every aspect of the case, every aspect, I should say, of how to parent the kids. Who has them, who picks them up, the pick up and drop off times, holiday schedules, visitation schedules, week-to-week visitation, decision making, dispute resolution, moving out of the area. I mean, there's tons of detail that needs to go into it, and you have to be careful because many states do not like to use detail. Okay, so that's the parenting plan. I'll cover that more later. Now, another area is property settlement. The assets and debts need to be divided. You need to be clear about what you want in that regard and why you want it. Okay, so that needs to be clear and in writing. Another area is child support, of course. Okay, who gets the tax exemptions? Child support is usually based upon your income and her income, some variation of that, or a percentage of income. Look up your state guidelines. It's all available free right online by Googling it. Again, the guidelines and the roadmap of how to find these things is in my system, the Father's Rights Protection System. Okay, so this divorce video is not going to cover every aspect of every detail of the divorce, property settlement agreements and such. Those are going to be covered in separate videos. This is just an overview. Okay, so divorce is a situation where you're separating from your wife and you're dissolving, I should say, all um, legal ties to her. So you're separate legal entities at this point. So that's what a divorce is. More detail will be covered in other videos. Again, at the bottom of this video, in a green link, you'll see a URL for more information. Click on that. It'll take you to more information about my website, about my Father's Rights Protection System, and about a free case analysis for you. Thanks for viewing.